no Jedi.
Your powers are weak, old man.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! You don't know the power of the dark side.
And welcome back to the Disciples of the Force podcast. It's been a second. Sorry about last week. Crazy busy, but we're back now. Ready to talk about Star Wars. I know it's different with not having a show out right now, but Visions came out, so we'll talk about that. We'll dive into that. But I will pass it over to my good buddy, my good pal, my good friend, my good homie, my cutie cute friend, Austin Hyatt, for some Star Wars news.
Thank you. Here's some Star Wars related news. Spencer is getting married next weekend. We're recording this on a Thursday. He's getting married next Friday, a week from tomorrow. The reason we didn't record last week was partially because of his bachelor party. So if you have the means or the inclination, go ahead and donate something, a gift, a little bit of money to Ellie and Spencer Silva on Venmo.
Stop it.
But no, big congrats to that guy. We don't really have a lot of news here, which is surprising because we didn't record on May 4th. So I thought there would have been some Star Wars news coming out, even so close to Celebration, there wasn't. But I did read a thing from Empire magazine where Kathleen Kennedy was talking about some of the upcoming projects. And a lot of things that I thought were dead after this most recent Star Wars Celebration because they weren't even talked about. She mentioned that there's still a possibility. Namely, the Rian Johnson movies. She says that she still... Give me one second. So she talked about how her and Rian Johnson still talk all the time. She said, Ryan and I talk all the time. He just keeps getting more and more successful. And if it keeps moving things, back further and further, one day we'll figure it out. Personally, I hope they don't. I effing hate Rian Johnson. Not just for his Star Wars films, but for his stupid Knives Out films. I like the first one. Glass Onion sucks. So I hope he doesn't come back to Star Wars. She also said Rogue Squadron and Lando are still not canceled, which is crazy. And she says that Taika Waititi is almost done with his script, and he just works slow. She said Taika is working away. And he won't get mad at me for saying this, slow. We've got a couple of acts. We need a third. Which is insane, because like 6 months ago, it was confirmed that Taika had finished his story. I remember reading that somewhere, and now it's like I don't think any of these projects are actually going to happen. I wish she wouldn't just keep blowing smoke.
She's got it, dude. She's got to get the clout, got to get the ball, get people excited about random things that aren't going to happen.
She did talk about the new Rey movie, the new movie that Rey is featured in. She said, the First Order has fallen, the Jedi are in chaos. There's even a question of how many exist anymore. And Rey's building the new Jedi Order based on the text that she was given and that Luke imparted on her. So I'm excited for that. Should be okay. You're not?
You think they're going to... No, well, I don't have high hopes. But my question for you, do you think they're going to take what they've learned from those sequels and try to maybe shape it a little bit better? And that's why... I guess my question is why they're making this. Like, is it just like they plan to do another trilogy? Or are they just planning on just adding another film to kind of close the sequel saga, or not saga, trilogy, whatever. I don't know. Keep going.
Yeah, if you would have asked me this 4 weeks ago, I would have said they are not ever going to touch the sequel trilogy again. They're going to leave that where it is. They're not going to play with, Rey or Finn or Poe. That's going to be dead. But this movie's out, and I mean, everything that's coming out in Star Wars now is building towards the sequels and trying to enrich them and make them better. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty obvious with The Mandalorian. And so maybe, they are doing this movie to make a better ending for Rey than what we got before. That being said, the fact that they're even touching that time period shows me that maybe they haven't learned that much from the sequels. I hope I'm wrong. And I'm actually excited about that film because I think they could redeem the sequel trilogy. But it's possible that they haven't learned anything, especially with her saying that all these shows that have been canceled, are still happening, or that we thought were canceled are still happening. That tells me that maybe we have no idea what they're doing. Maybe they don't either. So kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, and maybe it is just kind of that, just giving the last little hurrah for Ray's character to maybe save her. But yeah, like you're saying, it's kind of disorganized over there. We don't know. We've had projects announced and then they're canceled, and then
Hmm.
we get three new movies. And those feel a little bit more, of course, set, given the fact that they have dates that are, I don't know, feel like they're more concrete that they're going to happen. So I hope maybe Star Wars turns it around. I think, and maybe what you're saying is maybe they're seeing the success of a Mandalorian and all these things, and they're like, oh well, this is enriching the story, so maybe we can still pull on it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Like I said, I have high hopes for all of them. I mean, my most anticipated is the James Mangold directed one about the first Jedi.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
this continuation of Rey's story, and then the Mandoverse movie.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I think the more I've thought about it, I'm in the same box as you. As I think that's my list as well. Uh,
really,
at first I was a little bit more excited for the Mandalorian. I thought, oh, it'd be cool, like the Mandalorian movie of
hmm
closing it all up. But I don't know. The more I've watched it, the more I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it all. I think it all is dependent on Ahsoka. If they can make Ahsoka be amazing, then. But like we've said, we've seen some trailers, and ooh wee mama, I'm
yeah,
a little nervous.
yeah. I think I don't know. I'm like I told Spencer before we started recording. I'm rewatching the Hunger Games movies, and I used to think I hated those. So because I thought they were like childish and
Oh,
poorly
you're liking
made.
them?
Yeah, dude. I just
Yeah.
finished the second one. That's a great movie. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with
so
you. One time, you and Jaren were just making fun of those movies, and I was like, "Yeah, they suck." But in my mind, I was like, "I actually enjoy Hunger Games a lot." But I
well,
didn't want
good.
to be loud, man.
You should rewatch them because you've got them rated pretty low on the Letterboxd.
Yeah,
Um,
You guys tricked me to doing that. I actually
you
really do
were
like those movies
pressured.
a lot. Yeah.
Okay, watch them again. But anyway, what I'm saying is, with Ahsoka, if I can just suspend my disbelief or suspend my active criticism of it and just try to enjoy it, then I think I will. But we'll see, like we've talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta trust in Dave. We gotta
Yeah.
give him the love he deserves, and we'll see. I mean, Ahsoka is his baby. He's
Hmm.
really been there from the beginning with that character and everything. So, I don't think he'd let it fall. I think he'd make a good story out of it. So, maybe the visual effects might look a little weird, but maybe the story's amazing. So
Well, and that's the thing. Like with Rebels, you have to deal with the bad visuals for a great story.
right,
And
exactly.
to Dave Filoni's credit, and a little bit in his defense, this season of The Mandalorian, which was not good, was more headed by John Favreau. And I love John Favreau, but that could explain why there was a decrease in quality, was because Dave had to kind of step away and let him write more things. I don't know. But he
Yeah.
still directed some. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the blame lies, but
The blame lies in that they thought that they were doing so good they could just put anything out, and they thought it would
mhm.
hit, which
Yeah.
happens. I mean, you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We just got to put out a season and it'll hit. But hopefully they learn. They go, nah, never mind, fam. But yeah, other Star Wars news, not really news, but news for me. I just started the Thrawn books. I'm halfway through the first one. Really like it. It's actually
Good.
very, very good. There's a lot of sexual innuendos and like mention of sex about it in the book, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is
I bet you love
interesting.
that.
No, I actually mute it when it talks about it because it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Good. You're a good boy.
No, the only thing it said is like, it's a girl talking. She's like, he invited me over to practice martial arts, and maybe my roommate will be thinking, well, we since I'm out so late that it turned into other physical activities. That's all it said.
That is
and,
risque. We might need to
and,
cut that.
and
We
the
don't want our rating to go crazy.
and the other one was about the same girl. She's trying to find a job in Coruscant, and they ask what she's done. She's like, "Well, I worked for a senator." And she goes, "Did you work for a senator, or did you work under a senator?" And she looked at her and she goes,
Whoa.
"Maybe under." And I was like, "Damn,
Jeez.
damn."
Okay.
Anyways, that's
Well, it
it.
sounds
I'll
good.
let you go. Yeah, halfway through. Started it on Sunday, so I'm pretty proud of my progress.
Very
Audiobooks
nice.
are goated. I'm sorry, I'm too stupid to be able to read because I've been reading a book right now and it's taking me forever, so I gotta listen. But yeah, I'll let you guys know my opinion on that. But I think for that, there's not really much Star Wars news, is there?
No, I mean, I tried to look, and yeah, we didn't get anything since the last time we recorded. So
Yeah,
that's that.
Yeah, we'll call it what it is. So,
Well,
Visions. Oh, go ahead.
Right.
Let's hear it,
Sorry,
baby.
I guess that is news. Is that Visions came out since the last time we recorded, and we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. Let's start with it first. What are your overall thoughts over just the whole season? What did you think about it?
I loved it, man. I thought it was better than the first season.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
like every
let's hear
episode
why.
was kind of a banger. Every episode except for there were a couple misses. Sith was great. So cool visually and everything. Screecher's
Yes.
Reach. Very cool story. You didn't like that?
It's not that I didn't like. Well, we'll get into it. Keep going.
So they're like Scottish or Irish, and I don't really
That's
like
probably...
those kind of people. And I didn't like the animation. I don't like people from the British Isles, dude. Yeah, the animation.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like.
It's not that great. But like the way, spoiler alert for all of these, by the way, we're gonna kind of talk about them. But the way that she or he, I don't know, a young girl. So the way that she is led by like a Sith through that amulet, I thought that was really cool.
That was cool.
In the Stars, the one about the two sisters who take down that Imperial garrison, I really, really liked that one. Animation was cool. Like, I just found myself thinking about it later. Did not like I'm Your Mother. Again, I don't like British people. That was the claymation from England.
I am your mother.
Yeah, did not love that. But a lot of fun references to the greater universe in that one. So that was cool.
That is fun.
And one of the first bras in Star Wars. George Lucas says there's no underwear in space. And so
he's capping.
That goes to show that these are not canon.
Yeah. So do we want to like go down each one and talk about it individually, or how does you want to go about it? Okay,
yeah, let's just go through one by one and talk about it.
All right, let's start with the Sith. I agree. I thought the visual effects was really cool. I love I don't know how to pronounce it, the TSMU 6, the wheel bike that Grievous uses.
Oh, okay, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, guys. I thought the Inquisitor was super sick. And then I loved the concept that she was no longer a Sith and that she kind of broke away. She just wanted to live a life of I just want to do art. I just want to be chill. I don't want to be, tied down. I thought that was way sick.
Yeah. And like I said, I just love the animation from that one. Like all the action sequences were so cool. And like you said, that Sith or Inquisitor, whatever he was, very, very cool. And his little robot things, his droids, were really intimidating.
I do like, I wrote this down. I'm assuming this is the Sith that I'm referring to, that when she killed him, he just faded away.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Obi-Wan because, we don't see that ever again, right? In Star Wars, only in A New Hope, and you never really see it. So that's cool that they kind of did it that way as well.
Well, yeah. So I've always wondered, I mean, it's like they're becoming one with the Force because it happens to Yoda in Return of the Jedi.
That's true. Yeah, it does.
But not to Qui-Gon. You're good, dude. We'll have to look into this because I, from what I understood, Sith couldn't become one with the Force. So for him to fade away like that is kind of weird. Again, these aren't canon, and maybe it was just like a visual choice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's.
I've always wondered why some do and some don't, and I mean I've read the theories, and I think it is very interesting.
Right.
Because no one in the prequels that happens to at all. Right.
And it's supposed that nobody knew how to have like posthumous embodiment. Like you would become one with the Force and you would like lose all self-identity. And in canon, I believe Qui-Gon Jinn is the first one to figure out how to maintain your identity after death. And so that's why we see him as a Force ghost in Obi-Wan.
That's true.
And then there are only certain Force ghosts. But yeah, so it makes sense that if your body like disappearing means that you're becoming one with the Force and keeping your identity afterwards, then we didn't see that in the prequels. Which is interesting. I don't know.
Well, now that I'm actually thinking about it, that you said that, that would be correct because in Star Wars: The Clone Wars last season, that's when Yoda starts to hear Qui-Gon, and everyone thinks he's crazy because it's the first time it happened, or maybe the first time it's been spoken about. So I think that you're right. That explains that perfectly of why it doesn't happen in the prequels. Very, very smart man you are.
I don't know, man, but yeah, interesting that the Sith can just fade away like that.
Yeah.
Because I've got right here in canon, no, a Sith cannot become a Force ghost. So fading away like that must not mean. Again, this isn't canon, so we're not bound by anything. But I wonder if fading away like that means that you doesn't necessarily mean that you're a Force ghost. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a good point. And like you said, not canon, so maybe it's like you said, just a visual effect. Like, let's just go for it.
Because it kind of reminded me of like Infinity War, how they like dust and flake away. Because we haven't seen that in Star Wars,
Yeah. Yep. So the next episode, I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. Screecher's Reach. We kind of talked about it. I didn't like. I think this is probably one of my least favorites, but it's mainly animation. But I also for a long time I thought it was really dumb because I'm like, what? They're just gonna go explore a cave and then but it was cool how the Sith was communicating, through the amulet. And that's not considered a holocron, is it? Does that have to have certain things to be a holocron? I don't know the difference.
I don't know. I hope no fans are listening because I really don't. No, I think a holocron just holds information. I'm not sure if it can, you can transmit through a holocron, gee whiz. But I did like the idea of the ghost that they were going after, just being like a crazy Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So
crazy old bat locked in a cave.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that one was a kind of a miss for me, but I liked it. Liked the idea, just not the execution, I guess.
Yeah. And one thing I did like about it was when the girl was, keep in mind, I did not go through to remember any names because if it's a one episode shoot off, to me, I just don't care to remember names. So anyways, when the girl is like, it's all in my mind, it's all in my mind, it's all in my mind, I thought it was cool. Like an actual ghost, when you're a kid, it's not real, it's not real. So I thought the ending was good that she turned and went with her. I thought it was a really good ending. So
very well. Okay, next one, In the Stars, episode 3. That's about two sisters who are the last of their kind fight for survival when Imperial forces discover them. I really, really like this one.
Would you say is your favorite, or?
Let me take a look. Probably not. I mean, maybe the Sith would be my favorite, or I liked the Bandits of Golak. Yeah, it might be my favorite.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the animation was amazing. I really liked the music in that one too. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. And then it kind of had that apocalyptic vibe, how they were just in the wilderness and that's the other thing. I really liked it showing the darkness of the Empire, right? They just come to the world and take all the resources. They don't care, right? It destroys everything. And it also really reminded me of Native Americans, how the beginning with that, those are considered petroglyphs, right? I don't know the difference. One of them is writing, one of them is words. What's I don't know. Anyways, but that was cool. I was telling the story in the beginning, and she's, you're watching it. Thought that was awesome, and then how the white man, the Empire comes and just takes their land. I thought it was great political commentary, and I think that's what Star Wars is a lot of the time. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, all the time. People always complain about politics in Star Wars, but that's all it is. So yeah, I really liked that one. I mean, it felt longer than it actually was. I think it was one of the longer ones, but still only 18 minutes.
Yeah.
And they just packed a lot of content in there. I really felt for the sisters, and they were both super powerful by the end. And yeah, very good.
I wanted to kill a kid though when she went into the base and she ruined it. I think you dummy. But I was laughing. I was like, could you imagine if they let the kid die when she's falling off the edge? They just let her die.
Because later in Visions, same kind of thing happened. That guy gets thrown off a cliff and actually does die.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There were a lot of cliff fallings in this season of Visions, but yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah. That's all I had for that one. Did you have anything else for In the Stars?
No. Next one is I Am Your Mother. This is the British one.
Mother.
Young pilot Annie, embarrassed by her clingy mom, must team with her on a wild madcap academy race.
Yes, sir. I liked how they had the shout out to Wedge in it. That was cool. And it was actually the same actor of Wedge. Is the dude who
really?
plays him. Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
I didn't even think to check that.
Yeah, so that was it. That was like the only. I mean, I don't really know actors, I guess, but looking through, that was the only one I thought was mentionable. Like, oh, that's really cool. He actually voiced Wedge.
There were two in a later episode that I'll talk about, but I was looking at actors for everyone too.
Yeah. Well,
I kind of hated that episode. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I forgot what I was going to say, so just go ahead.
No, I do like that claymation type style. Like Chicken Run is what it reminds me of. Might have been the same studio because Chicken Run is also
you want to
British.
know why? Because it is. Yep, it's them. Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run are the same studios. When I was a kid, I loved Wallace and Gromit. I used to watch it all the time at my grandparents' house, and so it had a soft spot for me. Like the story sucked, right? But I loved it because I was like, oh, I just love the claymation vibe.
Right.
Cute. And I thought the droid being a dog was cute.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then the Mandalorian helmet in the beginning that she's wearing is really cool as well. So
yeah, sounds like it was your favorite.
No. No, I enjoyed it. It was one of those ones like, this was fun for me to watch, but it wasn't.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say it was the best. I just enjoyed it. And if I did, get off my back, okay?
Okay. Jeez, dude. Jeez. Okay. Anything else to say on that one?
No, that was it.
Okay. Next one, 5, Journey to the Dark Head.
Nice.
A hopeful mechanic and disillusioned Jedi team up for an unlikely quest to turn the tide of war. I like that one. What'd you think?
This one was my favorite, which
really?
I loved it because all these animations that we watch, all the studios are really cool, unique, but I really, really like this one. I love dark lightsaber fights. Like when it's dark outside and they're fighting, because you just get that glow and you just get to see the lightsaber like pop. I love the contrast of it. And that's why I liked the episode, because I thought it was really cool. And I like, you can't really get too much of like a story going when you only have 15 minutes, so clearly everything is rushed. But for the most part, that's why I loved it. I thought it was the best animation, and then I just thought it was a good episode. I think he should have died in the end, but
yeah,
that's just me.
Well, yeah, I didn't like the whole mechanic thing. Like, here, I really wish it would have explored more. And again, these are just short, meant to be fun, things. But just the young Jedi versus the Sith that's like trying to recruit him. That would have been a perfect story if they just did that.
Right.
I felt like trying to destroy this weird like head thing that somehow controls the future and the will of the Force was kind of lame.
Yeah, that was weird. And I liked the dude. That was like a page right out of anime. The little, like his little, I don't even know how to call it.
His little tail thing or whatever.
Tail thing, yeah. I thought it was cool, but I don't think you could see it in Star Wars. You can see anything in Star Wars, but
yeah,
definitely reminded me of anime, of how animes are. But that's really all I had for that one. I don't know what else you got.
Last thing is, I just liked how kind of ambiguous it was. Like, you couldn't tell what war they were talking about or what time in the Jedi Order it was, because there were no characters that you recognized. So I thought that was good.
It was good, yeah. I agree. All right, well, let's jump to the next. Spy Dancer, which read it for me. The
premier dancer at an Imperial frequented cabaret is tested when her identity is compromised. I really like this one because it seemed at first, like the first little bit, I was like, ew, I hate this animation style and an uninteresting story. But what? You didn't like it?
No, keep going, man.
I liked the story because it's a lot like Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. Like the owner of this place of entertainment invites the bad Nazi people in and then plans to, kill them there.
That is a lot
using
better.
hers. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Well, that makes it, I didn't even, wow. Yeah, once you say it's like hard not to see that, but yeah, I didn't even think of that. I don't know why. I think the animation style put me off, but I did love the plot twist of the end is what really saved it for me. I didn't hate it. But what I keep going, I sound like you had more to talk about before it.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I didn't love it by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it was a cool twist that her son got taken from her.
Right.
And then he like had to deal with that after she got taken away or she fled. Very cool. Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was a really like that's one of those things that I was like, oh, would have never in a million years guessed. And I was like that, and that's good writing, you know.
Yeah, solid.
So that was good. Well, let's keep going to the bandits.
Okay, the bandits of Golok, pursued by the Empire, a boy and his Force-sensitive younger.
You can't say that.
Oh, Golok. Pursued by the Empire, a boy and his Force-sensitive younger sister seek refuge at a vibrant Daba. Is what I think that word is, Daba.
Sure.
Anyway, this was from a studio based in Mumbai, India, and a lot of Indian influence, which I really, really liked. Even like the Inquisitor, his outfit was really, really cool. And the Jedi who saved them in the end, I really liked her design too. This was like a kind of a Clone Wars style animation, and I just loved all of it. It was great.
That's exactly what I put. I put reminded me of the Clone Wars, and then heavily, you could feel like the Indian influence to it was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a really cool thing that they go for refuge, and then at the end, she takes her to be her apprentice because she's like she's not safe. Like if she's with you, she's not safe. So you might as well give her a chance. And it's like that's sad, but that's really good. So I really enjoyed that as well. I thought it was a good ending to it.
Yeah, very solid. Like I said, one of my favorites. So very good. Anything else on that, Bubba?
No,
boy?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, the next one. The Pit. A young prisoner forced to dig for Kyber by the Empire plans an escape for he and his people. I didn't really love this one because not a lot happened. But that being said, this is what I wanted to talk about. So the guy in it, the adult who gets thrown off the cliff and effing killed. The guy who acts that is named David Diggs. Do you know David Diggs?
Is he a football player?
No, he like the opposite. He was in the original cast for Hamilton on Broadway. Very, very talented guy. He played Thomas Jefferson and who's the guy who plays in the first act? You know? Oh, Lafayette.
Yeah,
I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, he's a really talented guy, and I did not even catch that it was his voice because I was waiting until. By the way, this is a message to Disney Plus. Your autoplay feature sucks, and you can't turn it off. I was waiting every episode. I wanted to see the voice actors, and the autoplay. I could stop and pause and skip. As soon as I got to the voice actors page, it closed out and made me play a new episode. I hated it. And you can't turn it off, at least on your computer. So I was upset with that. Anyway, so David Diggs is one of the voice actors. And then the other one, his wife, is what's her name? I don't know her name. But she is the voice actress for Tiana from The Princess and the Frog.
Oh.
So she's a straight up Disney princess. So pretty cool.
I did not know. That is cool. Yeah, I agree. I didn't really love this episode because, like you said, not a lot happens. The only thing I thought was cool was when he got up to the city and no one helped him, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, kind of reminded me, do you ever remember that story? This is going to get dark. I'm going to get real dark for a second. The story of the woman that was, like, stabbed to death and right next to a bunch of apartments and no one did anything. You ever hear about that story?
Where? No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a big city. But basically, yeah, she's screaming for help, and then like so many. It was like I think it was the middle of the day. No one did anything. Just kind of like people like peered out and just didn't do a thing. And so it's like a huge psychological thing. That's why I learned about it. Was like, why did that happen? Why did no one react? Which that is what reminded me. Like goes up to like help, and like I feel like for the most part it showed that they didn't care because they're a higher society, and he's like whatever. But I feel like it also was like some people maybe like I don't know. It's not my problem, but I would like to help you, but I don't know how to, so I'm going to keep going, So
right.
Thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like when they tell you if you're getting attacked, don't yell help, yell fire, because people will want to look at a fire and they'll come running to it. They'll run away from help. So, but yeah, some parallels as well to like blacks in America. I think Black people in America. I don't know. Good stuff.
That's
Just
good stuff.
not a lot happened. So
Yeah. All right.
Okay, next one. Ao's song. This is the last episode. A child who longs to sing must stay quiet because her voice can cause great calamity in the mines. The children yearn for the mines, don't they, Spencer? Aren't you one of those children?
Yes, sir. Minecraft, sir. I thought this episode was fun. Animation was really cool. Really
So
well
cool.
done. Really cool. And I thought, how all the kyber crystals are just like are all bleeding, right? They're all evil per se. I thought that was cool. That like she's got like they're trying to cure them so they can actually use them if they, and I thought that was a cool concept. But that's really it with it. I thought that was about it. But what did you think?
Yeah, love the animation. The girl kept getting so close to the cliff, and I was so worried for her. And then I was like, she's not gonna fall, and then she fell with her dad, whatever. I was like super attracted to the Jedi lady, even though she's like made of felt. Super cool. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Didn't love it, but it was good, solid, entertainable.
Yeah,
entertaining.
It was. I think it was very entertaining. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the girl. I want to see what she looked like. I can't remember. Oh yeah.
Wait, IRL or the?
No. The animation.
I wonder what the voice actress looks like.
She. I can't see. Where is she? She's pretty. Cynthia Yervio.
I'll be the judge of that. Cynthia.
She's in. Never seen any of these movies.
Yeah, a lot of these actors are kind of no names. It seems like. Oh, she's in Harriet. I never saw that, but that's a pretty big movie. Yeah, so a lot of these voice actors were, it seemed like they were from the countries where the studio was based, which, as we talked about a couple episodes ago, last season was not like that. Like there were a lot of big name American actors for these Japanese studios. And maybe in the Japanese versions, they had big time Japanese actors. I'm not sure, but very cool that they had big actors from their countries for the English versions of these episodes this season.
Yeah. Well, we can find out from Zach about that part.
Yeah, he could tell us. So that'd be good.
Yeah. Overall, I thought it was fun. I personally, I think I liked Visions 1 better. I think there was more. This one had a lot more diversity, like a lot more types of animation. So that was really cool. But I think the storytelling was better for me on the first one.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of these stories had a lot of common themes, like a young Force wielder that gets recruited by a Jedi or something, I just think the animation of the first one kind of meshes all those episodes together in my mind, whereas this, like you said, is just so distinct and cool.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I can definitely see that. From someone who doesn't understand anime.
That's crazy. That's
so
crazy.
But yeah, no, I agree.
So I just want to hear your favorite one and your least favorite one.
Oh, chore. Oh, see. Sorry. My favorite one, like I said, was Journey to Darkhead. I think you're right. The part where it's like predicts the future and stuff is dumb, but I thought it was cool. Loved the animation. Really reeled me in. My least favorite is gonna probably be, if I have to choose, it's gonna be Screecher's Reach. It's probably well, no.
Okay.
Well, I think literally Screecher's Reach and I'm Your Mother are tied for me.
Interesting. No, explain yourself. Come on. Go ahead.
I think the problem for me with Screecher's Reach is I didn't reel me in at all. Like the ending was cool, like I said, but I wasn't like, oh, like at least I'm Your Mother. I was curious. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But that could have been just like I said. I grew up
nostalgia.
on Gromit. Yeah, so that's probably why. But that, I mean, for me, yeah. But what about you? What's your favorite and least favorite?
Yeah, so I think my favorite is probably the Bandits of Golak, whatever, or In the Stars. I think those are tied for me. Similar-ish stories, like a brother, sister team. And then my least favorite is I'm Your Mother, which is fine. Wasn't bad.
It's crazy, dude. No, I'm just kidding. I almost yawned right there. That's crazy. Well, shall we spin the wheel? We haven't done that in a stack. Yeah,
Let's
thumbs
do
up.
it. Let's do it. Sorry.
See it.
While Spencer spins that, my allergies hit right before we got on. So if you hear me sniffling or my voice sounds whack, sorry. You're getting that right in your headphones or in your car.
Wherever you listen to get your podcasts.
Yeah.
All right, I'm spinning it.
Why is she black and white now, man? Come on.
Because we changed our colors.
Oh, that's right.
All right. Do you think Qui-Gon would have gone with Dooku if he were alive?
Meaning, do you think he would have turned to the dark side along with Dooku, correct?
Mm-hmm. That is correct. So a little context of why this question exists before we just jump in. That starting off, one of the biggest debates, as we've talked about, Duel of the Fates, is literally referring to Anakin's fate of what's going to happen to him, how it's either Obi-Wan who's going to train him or Qui-Gon. And there's a deleted scene in The Phantom Menace where Anakin's fighting I forget the name of the species.
Nemoidian? No, it's not Nemoidian, is it? Frick!
No.
We're going to get exposed.
Anyway, so he's fighting this guy, his alien, and Qui-Gon walks up and he's just like, hey,
Rodian. Sorry, it's a Rodian.
Yeah, Rodian.
And Greedo is one of them. Not the one that he fights, but he's the other buddy, I think. Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Sorry.
And he's asking him, like that beating him up worked, did it help? And he's like, no. Totally shows Qui-Gon's thing of like, yeah, you want to fight someone. Anger's a natural reaction to things, but did you feel like it actually solved anything? Which really, I wish they would have kept that in because that shows so much in depth of what Qui-Gon would have done for Anakin. And you see that he doesn't have these attachments. I mean, like he cares for the good of people. Like he's like him as a Jedi is a total different way of like as opposed to Obi-Wan. Like I feel like Qui-Gon would bend the rules. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he would be so strict, whereas Obi-Wan's very strict. Like no, we can't do that. It's not the way. We can't do that. So, anyways, that is kind of what got my mind thinking about it because then we got to see the inside of Tales of the Jedi, where you see Dooku and Qui-Gon being together, and kind of all the events that happened for Dooku to go. So, what would have happened? If he didn't die, would he have gone with Dooku? Or that's kind of the question, I guess, to give some more substance to it. So,
yeah, that's a great question. Our original name for this podcast was the Living Force Podcast. And it's because I really like the idea that Qui-Gon was more in tune with the living force rather than like the rigid rules of the Jedi. So I absolutely think he would have turned in some capacity with Count Dooku. He would have left the Order, I believe, and I think Anakin would have done it with him. Mm-hmm. I do not think they would have turned out to be Sith. I think they would have Dooku. Well, I don't know because it's hard to say because Dooku did end up joining the Sith. But maybe Qui-Gon could have gotten Dooku back. Dooku, Anakin, and Qui-Gon could have been like a gray Jedi type council or type group. But yeah, like you see in Attack of the Clones when Dooku is talking to Obi-Wan, he's like, yeah, I need Qui-Gon here now more than ever. They obviously had like a really tight relationship. And you see in Phantom Menace that Qui-Gon like deliberately disobeys the Order several times. And Obi-Wan even calls him out for it. Yeah. So he wasn't too bound by the rules of the Order. And he needed very little reason to leave the Order. So I think if he would have raised Anakin into more of like a a spirit of the law rather than letter of the law, that they both would have left the Order together.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, Disney, make a what if series. We'd love to see it,
Yeah.
Because it gives you the what if canonical of what could have happened, you know what I mean? So you don't have the debates. But I think, truthfully, there'd be more conversations with Dooku and they'd be talking about, yeah, well, this is, oh, yeah, I think this is wrong. And I think you're right. I think it would have been a gray area. And I think, Qui-Gon definitely would have probably pulled Dooku from becoming a Sith and maybe say, well, we both agree on the same thing, but we don't have to do it this way. This is a lot of hatred and anger. We don't really need that. We don't need the power. We're really just against the fact that the Jedi are losing their way and they're becoming so, hell-bent on certain things that they don't need to be. But along with that, I watched the TikTok video the other day about how, because we talked about a couple weeks ago that Dooku was, everyone, even in Attack of the Clones, they're just like, oh no, he's not really a Sith. He's just,
a political idealist. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And clearly what he stood for and his ideology lasted, because we see it in The Mandalorian, right? We see that his ideology is still stuck after all those years. But anyways, my point was going to be, with you saying that you don't think, that Dooku was a Sith, there's only that one scene where he actually has like the yellow eyes and like he's using his anger. Well, for the rest of it, he doesn't have it, right? Because he's trying to just go on a different path, but that's the only other path he had. So it's like, it makes sense that Dooku goes down that path when you only have one other option. But if Qui-Gon's alive, there is that third option, because I think they could have a lot more pull, a lot more power, because they're respected and people like them.
Right. And yeah, to your point, at the end of the lifetime of the Republic, there were only really those two paths. And so there was no way to go one way or the other. And so in that way, the Jedi were kind of justified in their hubris, in thinking that you need to be totally to the light and no element of the dark within you. Because really, the idea behind the Force is that there should be balance. But the Jedi leaned far, far, far into the light. Because once that dark side gets a hold of you, it can pull you in so quickly. So they were kind of justified in leading into that light, even though there should be balance in those things. And that's what Dooku understood. That's what Qui-Gon understood. But obviously Dooku fell to that Sith direction. So, but like you said, it seems as though he never like truly bought in.
Right. Well, and the thing what you just said of how quick the dark side can grab you, it is impressive that Dooku wasn't so like crazy and like super into the darkness. You know what I mean? Like, there's only a couple times he actually is. Because going into, I'm going to pronounce the Jedi's name wrong. Raven, I think it is. You know who I'm talking about? One of the Jedi's. It's from a book long ago.
Yeah, it's Legends now. It's from the video games and books. Yeah.
Anyway,
Revan.
So with him,
Darth Revan.
Yeah. It talks about how his story, he was really, a great Jedi, a great warrior, and they went to go to defeat the Sith, and they thought, oh, this will be cake, and they get turned, right? Him and his buddy, and it's like, that is the power of a Sith Lord. Like, and the dark side is like you're saying, it'll suck you in. So that Dooku didn't go full in is crazy of how strong he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely respect that. I have a question to ask you, but you look like you want to keep going on this, so go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Just two things.
Go for it.
We're not saying that Dooku was like this perfect character, or that like he was actually a good guy. He's one of my favorite characters because of his kind of neutrality. But even with that, he wasn't a neutral figure in any way. And we saw that confirmed in the Bad Batch, where they're on his home planet. And that old guy there is like, yeah, he plundered this planet to fund the Separatist Alliance, Yeah. That's not a good guy thing to do. So we like Dooku, but obviously he was a bad guy. He wasn't just misunderstood. He wasn't that great of a person. So,
yeah. But who knows? Qui-Gon could have maybe changed that,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, like, Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Dooku, they would have been a really powerful team that could have...
Oh, yeah.
And that, like we've always said, if Qui-Gon got to raise Anakin, he would have brought balance to the Force and fulfilled the prophecy. And I think Dooku also would have been integral in that. So...
Yeah. What I was going to ask you is, I've seen so many times about Mace Windu and the lightsaber being purple, and we know the real story is right. Samuel Jackson just was wanting a purple lightsaber because he's sick, right? But the people were like making up the theory of he's so balanced with dark side and the light. Like he understands them perfectly, and like that's kind of showing that. What are your thoughts when you hear that?
Yeah, that's not canon anywhere. That his lightsaber is purple because people say it's like a mix of red and blue, so it's purple. In canon, you can't like half bleed a kyber crystal and turn it purple. Like it's just purple because that's the color that it is. So that's not canonical. What is canonical is his fighting style. I can't remember what it is, what form. It's like form 5 or something. He accesses both sides of the force in his attacks.
So that is canon. His fighting style is canon that he uses both sides. Okay. Didn't know that.
But it's not as if he like toes a line between light and dark. He's still a full-on Jedi and a super powerful one that uses the light side as his source of power. It's really just his fighting style that I think has been confirmed in canon to have elements of the dark side in it. But yeah, I think the whole purple lightsaber thing is lame.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that he has a purple lightsaber. I'm saying when people say it's because it's a mix of dark and light, that's dumb.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's just, I mean, it's us as Star Wars fans. That's what we always do. We want an answer. We want a reason for everything, right? Like, whoa, all of a sudden there's a purple lightsaber. We need it to mean something. And the fact of it all is, hey, Samuel L. Jackson just wanted a freaking purple lightsaber. It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Exactly.
But
so let me correct myself real quick before we move on. It's actually form 7, which is Vapad. That's his fighting form, not form 5, like I said. So sorry, everybody.
But it is the light and dark. He pulls from both.
Yes. So let me see if I can find a description. You can keep going, but oh well. Actually, here. Sorry. Vapad was described as more than a fighting style. It was a state of mind that led through the penumbra of the dark side, requiring the user to enjoy the fight and relish the satisfaction of winning. The practitioner of Vapad would accept the fury of their opponent, transforming themselves into one half of a superconducting loop, with the other half being the power of darkness inherent to their opponent. So really, it's just that they enjoyed the fight and used their enemy's power against them. They siphoned the dark side energy. They didn't
They didn't go to the dark side to use anger. Right. They didn't do that.
Right.
They used. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. I did not know that. Guys, if you're listening, I'm a little learner. Austin's my little. I'm the Padawan. He's my master.
Well, dude, our TikTok posts have shown us that neither one of us know what's because the commenters know everything. It's crazy.
It's crazy. They're always right. We can never have a theory of anything because their theories are insane.
But yeah, we should do an episode one time on the 7 forms of lightsaber combat because they are very interesting. Really cool.
I would love to. I think we'll write that down.
Okay, we'll put it on the list.
Right now, I will write it down. What are we now?
What are we right
now? One thing I was going to say though. So going back to, I'm going to jump to Revenge of the Sith. The scene, right? Of course, since we're talking about Mace Windu, when he defeats Palpatine, I've seen a lot of things, and maybe it's in canon in some books or comics, I don't know, but that one theory that I've seen is that Palpatine let him beat him so that he could trick Anakin into, go joining the dark side because he's like, oh, this is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. And then he finally sees through the lies of the Jedi in the moment. And then other theories are, no, Mace Windu is super strong. He wins that fight 9 times out of 10. So I don't know what's canon, what's not, and what's just theory, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think what's canon is that Mace Windu wins without Palpatine throwing the fight. And I actually just recently saw something about this, that George and the lightsaber combat, choreographer and trainer, Nick Gillard, who is actually a Jedi Master in canon named Sindralin, he is totally convinced that Palpatine won because there are some cut parts of that lightsaber duel where Palpatine is toying with Mace Windu. He runs past him and hits him in the butt with his lightsaber, just little things like that. Weird things, which I'm glad got cut. But no, it seems like George is convinced that Mace won the fight fair and square. So I don't know, maybe not, but I think we'd have to read the novelization of Revenge of the Sith to really figure it out, or to read it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll put that on my book list. My goal is this. I mean, I'm done with school, as we talked about in the past. So my goal is to I'm going to get as much canon books as I can, but I am going to read some Legends. I really want to read Darth Bane. I think that'd be really fun. But like you're saying, that is true. And I mean, George Lucas he's Poppy, so I think that trumps it then that definitely
he knows dog.
Yeah, that he won. But I think nonetheless, I like both theories because they're interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I want to believe the theory where Palpatine lets him win because it just plays into the cleverness and how good he is at planning. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's something I really like. So, for example, with the Thrawn book, I'm going to probably keep talking about it because it's my new favorite thing. That's like how he is. He's so he perceives everything that's happening. Like he's just very okay. This is going on, and that's what makes him such a great commander, right? And so that's what's really cool watching Rebels is you see he's just very smart. You know what I mean? And so I like things like that play into the character. For example, Palpatine being such a strategist. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, dude plans out everything, you know. So I want to believe theory too, because it builds character. But I think in the end, I think Mace Windu just wrecked him. So
right, wrecked him. Yeah. Well,
wreck him.
And that goes back to what we were talking about before is like the will of the Force dictates who wins in lightsaber fights. It's not about skill because I certainly believe that Palpatine is more powerful than Mace Windu, fair and square. Like I think that's been proven. It's been shown. But I think there were factors that led to him actually losing without throwing the fight. So, and obviously Anakin became Darth Vader. So that was the will of the Force. Was to do that. So if it could be less about Palpatine's planning, even though it did work perfectly to his plan, and more about the will of the Force.
That's true. And real quick, last thing here that I just want to talk about is I love the balance of the Force. You know, do you really think they needed more good? You know, they needed more light. They needed more darkness. Which, you know, that is balance. I mean, perfect balance.
Yeah.
My Thanos.
No, yeah. That was great. No, yeah, I mean, from just the movies, Anakin really left just Obi-Wan and Yoda alive. So 2 Jedi and 2 Sith. So that was pretty balanced. Obviously, we know outside of the movies, a lot of other Jedi survived. And Inquisitors and everything else, but it was perfectly balanced in the movies. So,
have you been seeing those memes on TikTok that there is another, and then it cuts out from Obi-Wan. I mean, Yoda, what he's saying, and it's like there are 4 to 5 others.
I haven't seen that, but that's funny.
No, but a lot of the comments are funny. Like, well, Yoda actually only would know of Ahsoka because he's the only one he actually met, which I think is correct, right? Because he would have never met Grogu and. I almost said Calrissian. That's not the name of the guy.
Cal Kestis. No, I think he certainly could have met all of them because he trained younglings.
That's a good point too.
But I think he just because he was exiled on Dagobah, he wouldn't have known who survived, even Ahsoka. Like he could have assumed she would have survived because she wasn't a Jedi and didn't get purged by the clone troopers. But
well, could he sense it though?
No. That's a whole other thing with why he was on Dagobah is because it was a dark side nexus and it shielded his presence, and as a consequence, he couldn't sense other things outside of Dagobah.
Damn! Today I am a learner. I did not know that. That makes sense.
I might have quoted that wrong, but it's something to do with either it's a dark side nexus or because there's so much life on it because it's like a crazy planet-wide swamp that you can sense so much of the Force there that you can hide there. That your Force presence won't be felt. I don't know. It's one of the two. But
all right. Well, that was fun. Look at that. We haven't spun the wheel in a while, and we just went on a little rabbit hole.
That's great. I enjoyed it. Perfect.
Do you have anything else you want to add today?
No, I think we did great. I had fun. I'm glad to be back. It's glad to be back. What an idiot. Are we going to record next week, Spenny? Spenny's getting married, like I said, so we'll have to see. We might have to take another hiatus.
I should be able to record next week. I'm going to say yes. And then definitely not the week after, though. So we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. Maybe you can bring Forrest on.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to bring Forrest on. That'll be good. So
Okay.
let's try for next week. And
we'll
also, I wanted to say, if you've listened this far, we want to do a giveaway. We're not sure on what we want to do yet, but it's going to be a TikTok or Instagram-based giveaway, probably TikTok.
Yeah,
so with the next episode, we'll have details on how to win, or if you follow us on TikTok, listen to that or watch that. So won't be anything huge, but maybe a Lego set or something like that. We'll see.
Some fun.
Yeah.
And so look out for that. If you don't have TikTok, download it. If you're against the government, I don't know, man. Do something. But
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for being a disciple
of the Force.